What's up, guys? I wanted to do a shorter video today than I did yesterday, recapping day 3 of the Senior Bowl and just talk about some of the guys who I thought really thrived today, some players who kind of stood out and helped their draft stock a little bit. And there's a lot of guys on offense who really stood out to me, especially the guys who were pass catchers. Christian Watson was a taller receiver for North Dakota State, 6'3", 6'4". Looked really good. He had some really good releases. I do think he struggled a little bit to create separation in some of the red zone situations where there was not as much space to operate with. And that could be a problem for him in the NFL. However, I think he was really fluid. He had some really good releases. Looked like a nice natural hand catcher. Really looked the ball in when he was getting it. High pointed some passes. Caught some throws away from the body and caught some throws that were fairly inaccurate. So I think Christian Watson did a really good job today. Romeo Doubs, another receiver, had a really good day. He didn't get a lot of looks on day 2 from what I saw. He seemed kind of uninvolved, and there was a play where he might have cut his route off a little bit too early, or he had a drop. There was something I remember on day 2 that wasn't too impressive. But he came back today and was awesome. He had probably the most targets of anyone I saw today, and I don't think he dropped the pass from what I could see. Dubs was really good. His routes were really clean. Had a couple opportunities where he could have been out of bounds, made a catch kind of along the boundary. So I thought he had a really good day. Now, one more wide receiver, Khalil Shakur from Boise State. Going to be a smaller guy, slot receiver. He's about 6 foot, around 190, 193 pounds, somewhere in that range. He was awesome today. A lot of stuff over the middle. Had one catch where he's diving towards the back of the end zone, where he caught the ball away from his body. It was an accurate throw. Really nice catch there. Showed a lot of good strength to hold the ball through contact, whether it was with the ground or players hitting him across the middle. He did take a shot today, going over the middle of the field in the 7-on-7s with the red zone. So I think he took a number of good hits actually going over the middle, surprisingly, and he held onto the ball every time. I think that's really bodes well for him in his projection to the NFL. 2 tight ends I really like. Trey McBride, as usual. The dude was showing out the entire week. I mean, he's been fantastic. I don't think he'll go in the first round. I don't view him as that kind of player, but he's going to be the top tight end take, and he's going to be probably a top 40, top 50 pick. I think it wouldn't be crazy to take him in the first round if you really need a tight end. I don't think you have to do that this year because it is a pretty deep tight end class, but McBride is definitely tight end 1. Is that our tight end I like Cole Turner. Cole Turner had 2 drops very late in the practice that kind of spoiled the day a little bit, but overall I thought he had a pretty good outing. Cole Turner's a bigger tight end, but he's more of the receiving type guy, more of like a bigger receiver than a true blocker. Not someone you want to be in line too often, but I thought he blocked better today than I was expecting. And overall for the week, I think he's done better in blocking than I really expected him to. And like I said before, the 2 drops, that's a couple of really nice plays, some really nice catches. I'm a big fan of Cole Turner. I think he's going to move up the board quite a bit. Luke Fortner from Kentucky, interior offensive lineman, had some really good blocks today. And from what I had read going into the situation and what I had seen, I was a little worried he wouldn't have the play strength to necessarily stick with some of the top dogs. That wasn't really an issue for him today. He had some really nice blocks, and frankly, he had some nice blocks yesterday as well. Spencer Burford from UTSA is an offensive tackle. He doesn't have the play strength yet to be a full-time NFL tackle. You can see against the power guys, he gets pushed back too easily. So he really needs to add a lot of strength. His lower body compared to the other tackles there is pretty slim, so he needs to add a lot more weight. But he's had a good number of wins this entire week, considering what he's working with from a weight and strength perspective. He's had a good number of wins, and when he probably shouldn't be for that build. So I think it really bodes well for him. His play strength is not great, like I said, but he's gotten a good number of wins. And today, I don't think he really had many losses. He was doing pretty well, and I'm fairly impressed with what I saw from him, given what I was expecting to see from him this Senior Bowl. So I think Spencer Burford's trending in the right direction. On the interior defensive line, Travis Jones from Uconn. People talking about him being like a nose tackle. I think you could almost classify him as a defensive tackle because, yeah, he's got the weight maybe of a nose tackle. He needs space like that. He's got the strength of a nose tackle. But he adds enough in the pass rush. I believe he can play 3 downs for you. I don't think he has to come off the field. Whereas someone like Jordan Davis from Georgia, I think will have to come off the field to be a 2-down nose tackle. Someone like Travis Jones, I think, can actually stay out there for all 3 downs because he has the strength and power to just push guys back consistently and apply pressure to the quarterback. He was in the backfield consistently, and he constantly is blowing guys off the line of scrimmage. His hands are quick and powerful and very sudden, and you can see just the pop he has getting guys off the line of scrimmage. So I think Travis Jones has made himself quite a bit of money during the Senior Bowl. Someone else who wasn't even on my radar, I had no idea who this guy was going to the Senior Bowl, and he's really stood out. Eric Johnson, interior defensive lineman from Missouri State. Not standing out in the sense of a Perrion Winfrey or a Devontae Wyatt or a Travis Jones who has the chance to go in the first 2 rounds. I don't think he's going to be that kind of player. He's going to be a day 3 selection. But this guy went from being someone who probably would be, 6th, 7th round, maybe bottom of the 5th, to someone who's going to be legitimately spoken about as potentially being 4th round, 5th round kind of guy. I really believe that. He looked pretty good today, and he's coming from a smaller school, and he didn't look out of place. He looked like he belonged there. Frankly, there were some concerns I had. Oh, who was it now? I'm trying to remember his name. Fidarian Mathis. I really liked him during the season, but he didn't look good at all in the Senior Bowl. He got blocked in a couple of reps. Luke Fortner got him good one time. Ed Ingram has been really good this Senior Bowl as well. Ed Ingram got him one time. So Fidarian Mathis is someone who actually I'm a little concerned about. But Eric Johnson, to me, looked better today than Mathis did, at least. And I expect him to be moving up significantly on draft boards. He wasn't even on my top 300 board. He'll definitely be there for the next edition. And then Jaylen Petrie, defensive back for Baylor. This is the versatile guy who can play safety, he can play in the slot, can probably take a couple of reps at outside corner, even though they don't want him there full time because of his size mostly. But he was arguably the best defensive back there, certainly the most versatile defensive back there. For a fairly deep crop of defensive backs at the Senior Bowl, none of them really played that well, or I shouldn't say they didn't play well. They didn't stand out. No one put themselves out there and was head and shoulders above the rest. I just didn't see that. It's just somewhat disappointing, but Jaylen Petrie certainly was the guy who stood out the most from that group. And again, his versatility is going to be huge, and we saw him line up in a whole bunch of different situations at the Senior Bowl. I think he will be a great player in the NFL, a true chess piece on the defensive side of the ball. He's going to be able to blitz off the edge, certainly, or blitz from the slot. I think that will cause a lot of havoc for offenses. So Jaylen Petrie, just one more guy I wanted to highlight today. And that will be all for tonight's Senior Bowl recap, guys. Make sure to tune in for the Senior Bowl game. That certainly is less impactful on guys and their resumes than the actual practices themselves, but make sure to tune in for the Senior Bowl anyways. Jim Nagy and his crew does a great job setting up the Senior Bowl every year, and it was certainly a great one this time around. But for now, guys, good night. I'll talk to you all tomorrow.